What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 250 of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. Today's episode number 250 is our second of the Wacky Wednesday episodes from today, and it's entitled Holding On to Fear and Pain. As a Wacky Wednesday episode, we're going through the chapters of the From Ashes to Destiny curriculum, and this is the first story from chapter 9, phase 2 of that curriculum, and it's entitled The Heart Holding On to Fear and Pain. I'd like to start out with just a really brief, just a couple of sentences in the very first story. And this will set us up to just be able to talk about and think about, are you holding on to fear and pain? Are you clinging to fear and pain, and why? So here's the story. Do you want to be rid of our resentments, our anger, our fear? Many of us cling to our fears, doubts, self-loathing, or hatred because there's a certain distorted security in familiar pain. It seems safe to embrace what we know and safer than to let go of it for the unknown. You got that? So our questions for this short story is, and those were reflections from a guy that I worked with in Lancaster County in prison. So the questions would be, the first one, do you really want to be rid of your fears? And what are the fears that you find yourself holding on to? They could be fears from your youth, your childhood, fears from adulthood, fears as you're getting older, whatever it might be. What are the fears that you're holding on to, and do you really want to be rid of them, or actually is holding on to them what you're choosing to do? Number 2, what anger are you holding on to? And this could be anger from your addiction, anger from your childhood, anger in feeling stuck in recovery and no opportunities opening up, and a variety of anger. So I want to ask, what anger are you holding on to, and how are you justifying holding on to it? Number 3, what resentment are you holding on to? And again, same sort of thoughts as with the previous one. How are you justifying holding on to that resentment? Do you feel you're entitled to hold on to your resentment because of some injustices or feeling unfair treatment, or just ways that you feel were not right in your life? And how can you begin to let go of your resentment? Number 4, is there anyone or any memory that goes beyond resentment and actually fuels hatred in you? What are some things that you can actually say, I just hate that about my childhood. I just hate that about getting caught up in addiction. I just hate that of all the consequences that have come as a result of my addiction. It's undeserved. I didn't choose the consequences. So I want you to be able to talk about those things that are just, they're just sickening to you. They stir up hatred in you. Number 5, are you riddled with self-doubt and doubt of others? Especially, this is important if you're still using, or if you're struggling early in recovery, or if you're fully in recovery but you're just not getting where you want to be. What are the doubts that you have? The doubts about yourself, the doubts about your future, and the doubts of others as you're making new acquaintances, new relationships, new opportunities. Is living with pain more comforting than your fear of the unknown? So how would you, number 6, how would you describe the things you're clinging to? What are some of these things that you realize, you know what, it's more than just holding on to them. I'm clinging to them for dear life because, you know, what I'm clinging to actually gives me comfort and defines me. And if that's the case, I want to ask you, does what you're clinging to more than define you? If you stop and think about it, is it actually controlling you? So I want you to be able to think about that from the standpoint of, am I holding on to fear, anger, resentment, hatred, pain from the past that is actually controlling my future but comforting me at the same time? And how do I break that cycle to get change in my life and to get the future that I want? So, number 7, how would you describe this sort of distorted security of familiar pain that you're embracing? Not saying, you know, this is rotten, you're making crazy decisions. I'm just saying this security may be distorted. And it's distorted because you're embracing familiar pain rather than risking the unknown, risking an uncertain future or even an uncertain present, because holding on to the pain is known. So it's, you know, clinging to what I know, even if it's not beneficial to me, even if it's not getting me ahead, even if it keeps me stuck in a situation that I really don't enjoy. It's still my situation, and I can feel like I'm controlling it and possibly not even realizing that it's controlling me. Okay, a lot of good questions for discussion. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the A2D From Addict to Disciple podcast. But I also want to encourage you, if you were saying to any of that, you know, that's me, I really identify with that point or that other point, then I want to encourage you to reach out, talk to someone, join a group, write down your thoughts and feelings, share them with someone. You can message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfroma2d@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, www.froma2d.org, and click on the contact page. If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave your comments by clicking on the link they provide in that platform. Keep listening to future podcasts, both our regular Monday podcasts and our 2 podcasts on Wacky Wednesday. And as always, stay safe and stay resilient.